What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Everything Entrepreneurial with me, Curtis Harley. In this episode, I met up with David Olusegun. David is the founder of Provision Visuals, a creative collective based here in South Dublin. He works with brands and corporations to get the most of their visual storytelling online. We chat about him growing up, what he's done in school and college, how he started out as a freelancer to where he is now, and we also touched on business mindset and some things that it takes to make it as an entrepreneur. Now let's get straight into the podcast. Thanks for meeting up with us. And anyway,
thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, I am David Olusegun. I came to Ireland when I was 5 with my parents,
Right.
and I've literally been in Ireland ever since.
Where did you come from?
I came from Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah, so
Cool,
Nigeria,
sweet.
Nigeria background.
Cool. So you came here when you were 5 years old.
Yeah.
And what was it like when you came over for the first time?
Vaguely I recall, like, it seemed foreign, like, as it is, like, and then having to adapt and adopt a new culture.
Yeah.
To yourself, like, it was interesting. But yeah, growing up, I saw my parents always having to strive and really work hard to get what they wanted,
Yeah.
And that was my focus, that was my goal. They inspired me to that you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That's my aspiration. So from an early age, my parents would work long hours, backbreaking work to provide the basic
Getting the
essentials,
food on the table kind of thing.
But yeah, like, and that's kind of what motivated me, that if you really put your mind to it, you can achieve whatever you want to,
Cool. So it was kind of like the family that you had. You learned from them that, like, hard work, dedication, like, you have to
and believing in yourself.
yourself. Tell us about that, believing in yourself. So, because you do, I feel good confidence coming from you.
Yeah.
About believing in yourself, what did they teach you about that? Like, you shouldn't listen to what other people say, or don't take things too close to heart.
Yeah, to be honest, they come from a Christian background, so
yeah,
religion is a massive part of their lifestyle, and it's also mine as well. So, their core values come from that, and that's also, like, talking about, at the end of the day, everyone's the same in a way.
Yeah.
You shouldn't always rely on what somebody says about you for you to know who you are. That shouldn't be your core value. You should have a set of core values that you believe in.
Yeah.
And you take that and you make it work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's kind of guided me as well, that everyone has an opinion. Everyone can say and say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, whose opinions matter?
Yeah.
Yours.
Yeah,
whose actions matter?
Definitely,
Yours.
Yeah. That's something that I struggle with throughout my whole life. When I was younger, my father left. I was really young. He was abusive to my mum and stuff. So he left. I must have been, I'd say, 1.5, 2, something like that. And I've kind of grown up being like, am I good enough? Like the whole rejection.
And rejection.
Yeah,
and
like,
stuff like that.
If someone's supposed to be there that loves you like your dad's, and he wasn't there for me, am I not lovable? Rejection, all this kind of stuff. So what you said there is really powerful to me, because I need to remember that, like you said, it has to come from within. It doesn't really matter what other people's opinions are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a good heart and you're trying to do positive things, and, like, you're trying to help the community, or even if it's your friends, family, whatever, like, you should feel confident in yourself. So that's pretty good advice, man. I like that. So tell us, going through your education and everything, you went to, obviously, secondary school and stuff.
Primary school, secondary school.
What took your interest?
Business. It was always either between business and science for me.
Science, yeah.
Yeah, science. Yeah, I was a massive fan of biology and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But business caught my eyes from an early age. I can remember my earliest recollection was, like, even, it's so funny, like, the shoe game in Ireland now, it's kicked off, but my first venture was selling shoes.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So I used to import shoes from an American site.
Right.
And then it was stupid of me. It was stupid of me at the time. I forgot about the import taxes and all that. I'd import shoes from an American site.
Yeah.
For, like, dirt cheap. They weren't too expensive, and I'd try to, like, upsell them in the Irish market, because no one else was doing it.
Right.
And I realised that.
When was that?
This would have been about 6-7 years ago.
Wow.
And then
so that's kind of like drop shipping, I suppose.
So, yeah, literally drop shipping.
Yeah, but you kind of took it over here.
I didn't have a website for it. I used to just use Facebook and then word of mouth marketing.
Yeah.
That was that was like the baby, like
That-
that was the baby steps.
That's
You
cool,
know?
man. That is cool.
And then from that, I went into like e-commerce and then went into website developments.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's what kind of sparked where I'm currently at right now, because I've experimented. You know, I've tried different things. It's not fully new to me.
Yeah.
I know what failure feels like. I know what
Yeah.
I know what like doing accomplishments feel like as well. Like when you do really well.
Yeah.
I know what that feels like. But at the same time, I still know that I'm not where I want to be yet.
Yeah.
You know.
So tell us now. So you have a business. Talk
Yeah.
to us about that and where you are now.
Yeah.
What you're doing and where you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months going with it.
Yeah. So the business initially started off when I was in college. I used to freelance as a freelance graphic designer and a videographer here and there for different clients. That then turned, after I graduated college last year, turned into like Provision Visuals, what it is right now.
Yeah.
It's like a social media freelance collective whereby I get a gig, I put a team together of creators, and we make our clients' vision come to fruition.
Yeah.
Get me, like, so.
Yeah. That's sweet.
That's the basic message, and we basically bring ideas to life for our clients. And that's kind of where we've transitioned to. I used to do freelancing for the various clients, but now I focus on small to medium sized businesses all across Ireland.
Okay, so talk to us about your freelance career, although it may have been short. What were kind of the pitfalls you've seen there, and what recommendations you could give to someone who would maybe interested in starting freelancing while they're in college?
Okay, yeah. So freelance is everyone comes into freelance with the perspective, with the view. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Everyone comes into freelancing with the viewpoint that it gives you that kind of the main freedoms, as in time, you're financially,
location,
location. You can work from anywhere. But the harsh reality is that freelance is hard. It's a hard industry to get into.
Yeah.
It's also oversaturated. There are a lot of people doing potentially what you're just coming into.
Yeah.
With more experience, more connections,
and
all that kind of stuff, you know. But freelance is rewarding if you find your niche and what you're really good at and develop your skills. So if you're in college still listening to this, I'd advise you to develop your skills while you're in college. Make as many connections as you can while you're still in college. The person sitting there beside you, he could potentially be your next gig.
Yeah.
That could be where your next gig comes from.
He could turn into like a marketing manager, and then
he'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy from college, he was sound, or I remember he was really passionate about that, you know, let me just reach out to him.
That's literally what it is like though as well, like, you know what I mean? It's always like, you don't want to be like, oh, it's jobs for the boys, but it is like, if you build up a good relationship with someone and then they're in a position where they're looking for someone to do a service, like say what you're providing, like they're gonna think back and go, oh geez, he was great, he was sound, you know what I mean? And it's the rapport that they already have with you. They know that you're trustworthy. They've seen it on social media, and you're providing value, and you're doing this, that, and the other. And they've seen your client work, so why wouldn't they go with you? You know that way?
True, yeah. So, no, that's literally it. Like, be hungry. Like, go from the get go. To be honest, like.
Yeah. So what you're doing now is there's a collective of you, and say. Yeah. Well, obviously, I don't know. You can speak for yourself, but like, say, there's like a professional videographer, a professional graphic designer, a professional social media manager, and you all come together for, say, the one business or a couple of businesses, and you all share kind of a bit of the pie.
Yeah,
that's a really good way to grow. That's
the model I thought to myself that would work, because I worked by myself for a long period of time, and I was like, I don't want to just work. I don't want to just be doing a gig for the sake of doing it for money, you know. I want to enjoy the human interaction side of it as well. So I was like, there are other creators out there in Dublin. Why not just connect with them and get them involved? Because I come from a marketing background, so sales sometimes comes naturally to me. So I understand how businesses think. You know, when you go to the creator's mind, when you view the creator's mindset, it's more so I know how to create. Oh, the business side of it, I don't worry about. If I create, it will happen somehow, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody will see my work, and then they'll contact me.
Right.
But from a business viewpoint, you realize that you also have to go to them and show them that they should hire you. This is the reason. Give them a reason. You know?
So creatives, from your experience, like interacting with them, and you're a creator yourself, but you also have the kind of entrepreneurial spirit, business spirit. are kind of, I'm not going to say afraid of sales or selling themselves or business, but
They're not taught. In a way.
yeah,
They're not,
they
they
probably
don't
just don't have that kind of mindset.
that they actually have to be proactive
Yeah,
in their approach as well.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then I suppose inversely, people who are business minded don't
Are
have
not
that
as
create.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's
that's
kind
the
of,
drawback. Like,
it's a drawback. Yeah,
because even for me, given that I've only been doing this about 2 years now, yeah,
yeah,
I've from the get go, I realized that like my creativity isn't where I want it to be. I've always tried to push it
yeah.
and bring it out, but it's not it doesn't feel 100% natural to me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's something I have to constantly develop. But somebody who's a pure creative, they just like, oh
Just
shit,
happens.
I like that. Let me just draw it, and
I get you.
they make it look really cool.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I wish I could do that. I
yeah.
can't like.
I know what you're saying now.
Mm,
So, since you're kind of in that like creative industry with provision
yeah,
visuals, give us an example of how you're trying to draw out your creativity, because other people might be experiencing
yeah,
some creative block at the moment, or they want to get into it, that way. So,
yeah.
what would you recommend them to do?
From I remember I did a post on Instagram to just ask other creators what, like, because I shared my experience of having creators block,
Right.
to ask them what they do. I had a lot of recommendations and whatnot, and I actually went through and I tried a lot of people's different suggestions.
Okay.
I tried it. Like I actually took about 2 weeks off social media and all that, just to get back to the core values that I wanted, that I had, like,
Yeah.
and what made me really get into it initially. And what I ended up discovering was that I actually found my own system. So now I read a lot of books around psychology,
Love it.
philosophy.
Yeah, love it.
I don't read too much into creative or business now. It's just a lot of psychology, self development,
Yeah, I'm
all
into
that kind
that.
of stuff.
I'm into that.
So that's I don't know. I don't know. It's done something to me that I don't know. It's like the natural creativity that I had is coming back. That I'm not really looking for inspiration anywhere else
Yeah.
now. It's internal. It's
Yeah.
not external anymore. It's just like, David, you kind of already know, but you're just not doing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So
So now that's what
bring it into
I'm
action.
bringing it into action now. So like my eyes is kind of awoken in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
in some sense.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm into like personal development books and psychology, philosophy, all
Mm.
that. But to me, it, like that, it didn't bring me creativity. It brought me
On it.
curiosity.
Oh, did it? Okay, okay.
Yeah,
There you
you
go.
know that was so like when I read I don't know about like certain philosophy, I just become so curious about like you're like, geez, the mind does work like that. Are people behave in a certain way? It's like
People, yeah.
it's just crazy, like what I mean.
Mm.
Just so that kind of I'm like, geez, how does that all happen? But I can see where you're coming from, where you'd draw some creativity from that because you're getting an understanding of how other people interact and engage and think, and then you can use those ideas in your own work to
Yeah,
create.
it's great.
So yeah, that makes sense. Um, so tell us a little bit about some previous client work.
Yeah. So previous client work has revolved solely around social media. A lot of it. So we've been helping different businesses manage their social media content creations.
Yeah.
So we'd probably go into a business, have a chat, create a social media plan for them. Strategy is everything. A lot of businesses go into business without having a proper strategy. So we get down to the core most of the time, and then distill and figure out what their image should be, what the messaging should be, and give them a brand identity.
Yeah.
And then from that, then start creating content that aligns to the strategy, and then sets KPIs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that they feel that they're also getting value, because at the end of the day, when a business pays for a service, they have to see a return.
Yeah.
So
They want to, yeah.
So we have to also measure our returns and make sure we're in some sense creating value for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I initially actually started off with. So that was social media content creation for just small businesses.
Yeah.
It's going around doing their calendars, managing their social media. And then from that, then went into videography and photography. That's what our main focus is right now. So we work with kind of more large to medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
On creating social media assets. So stuff.
Tell us about that, assets.
So assets could be a website banner.
Yeah.
Yeah. A social media video.
Yeah.
Or a series of videos.
Yeah.
A social media takeover. all that kind of stuff.
So would you organise that for a business?
I would sit down with them, go through everything, have a script.
Brilliant.
If we need actors or actresses,
You
or
look
actors,
after all that?
actors now.
Oh yeah.
Actors would handle all of that. If I need a photographer,
you have it.
Bring up all them, all that kind of stuff, you know.
So you kind of take the pain away from them.
So they can focus on their core.
They can focus on their core business,
which is getting sales, and
you're taking over the creative side of things for them, I suppose, and you have the network to reach out. Oh, I need a photographer. I'll do the videography.
Yeah.
Everything like that. That's a good setup.
And that's our main focus now. So again, I was talking to you about like having to revisit the brand, the business plan. Yeah. So having to revisit that also indicated like what my core markets should be now. So we focus a lot on tourism and hospitality, and also construction, because they're like booming at the moment. So that's our core focus right now. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. So we've been creating a lot of new assets for companies to make them to bring them to the present, you know. Yeah. So our recent clients actually has been Big Bus Tours. Big Bus Tours. We did a massive gig for them recently. So we did a photo asset kind of creation thing. Yeah. Photo asset boost, let's say, just creating a load of.
They probably had nothing to go off.
They had nothing,
So they needed some fresh.
But we enjoyed working with them because they had a plan. They knew what they wanted. Right. They had it to a T, and they were a pleasure to work with. Yeah. You know, some businesses don't have that, and you have to explain why you need certain things, and it was a pleasure to work with. They were a pleasure to work with. And then we also worked with Viking Slash as well, also recently. So we did a photo asset makeover, and then also a video asset makeover as well. Right. And then I actually got a surprising email the other day being like, by the way, the video you created will be shown on our Aer Lingus ad in 2020 or something like that. So
no way.
I was like, wait, what? Well, like the video is now out officially, so I'm waiting for them to confirm and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it was hot. I was glad
that
to hear
that sounds cool. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff we do for a lot of our clients right now. So
So that's your clients. So what about internally within your own organisation? Like, what do you look for when you're looking to work with people? Because I'm sure whoever does listen to this and they might be getting into the marketing field, videography, it's all grown, isn't it? So what, as an employer, what would you be looking for an employee? Like, what are you looking for?
And somebody that's trying to create to work with. So what I usually look for, to be honest, is not education. Education is it's when it comes. I don't feel like when it comes to creativity, it's different. Yeah,
it's different.
It's a lot different. So it's really about the person. I look at the person. I look if they're really passionate about what they're doing. Yeah. Because some people say I'm passionate, but when you look at them actually do what they do, they're not. They don't. Yeah. They don't.
They want to look like they're on drugs or something. They're like, I'm fucking having a great time.
Yeah, but like that's honestly why I go by when I'm looking for someone to even join the crew or for certain projects. I look at somebody who is really passionate about what they do, who is willing to put 100% in. So I could call someone. I'll usually give people like 4 or 5 days notice. I'm like, I have a gig coming up end of the week. Are you available? Like, yeah, hell man, I'm available. Yeah, just let me know the details. I'm like, that's what means a lot, you know.
That's kind of the trust for you is a thing as well. So and you're looking for people who are passionate, a little bit trustworthy as well, because you need someone to depend on. Like, you're running a business. You know what I mean? So you need that trust factor. What else were you gonna say?
I was also gonna say punctuality and professionalism. Yeah. Like, especially in the business field, a lot of people, you can't be slacky. You have to be on time. You can't. Yeah. There's certain, I don't know. Coming from a business background, I understand that there's certain, what's the word I'm looking for? There's etiquettes to it. You know? You can't just do whatever you want. Yeah. There's if somebody tells you to, there's a form of hierarchy as well. In a sense, somebody's managing the project, making sure everything's going according to plan. Not everyone can't just do what they want. Yeah. There has to be some sort of order. So somebody who's willing to listen and to learn is also a massive trait I look for as well. You know?
Yeah, I think willingness to learn is essential for me as well. You need someone.
You honestly do.
Because I'm thinking of me, and I'm thinking about how insatiable my thirst is for like knowledge, and I want to learn more about digital marketing, our business, entrepreneurship. if I met someone like that and like I was working with them on like if I was like going to employ them or whatever, I'd be like, holy shit, you know what I mean? I'd be like, I can trust them. I know that they're not gonna stop until the work is done
True.
to high standards. So yeah, I think willingness
to learn is a massive one as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes actually as well, I also look for somebody sometimes who's better than me.
That's a good one. Yeah,
know?
that is a very good one.
Because at the end of the day, like I'm still new to what I'm doing, and somebody who's got more insight and who knows a software better than me, that's amazing. You know?
Yeah.
I don't see that as an hindrance. I see that I'm like, whoa, yeah, I want to learn. So
Yeah.
I want to learn as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to even create a collective, because I can learn off other people.
Yeah, and they learn from you as well. So it's all kind of positive, you know, that way.
That's another one. That's another thing. That's another trait I look for when I'm kind of looking for someone to work with me on a certain project or whatnot. You know.
Yeah. So, tell us now a little bit about why you even got into entrepreneurship. So you said that like your family and stuff, hard working and everything like that, like they grafted day in day out, put bread on the table to provide for you.
Yeah. Was
there anyone in business, like in your family, that was in business?
Yeah, my dad was.
Oh, cool.
My dad was a self-contractor, so he was
Cool.
he worked in the construction industry,
right?
And he used to like just get projects, and he would work on that and build a team and all that.
So there was a little bit.
There was a little bit of that, like
Cool.
I saw that a lot.
So what made you?
I know I said I finished college about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Initially when I finished, I actually didn't think of going into
business,
working for myself,
right,
full time. I thought to myself that I'm graduating now, I have a marketing degree. A corporate job actually doesn't sound too bad. It's a set wage per year. And
was that because other people in college were going that route?
Yeah.
And you were surrounded by that.
A lot of influence was that. Even before we got our results, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I'm applying for this job. I've got this company coming up," and I was like thinking to myself, What should I do? What should I do? Should I actually really pursue my dream, or should I just do what everyone else is doing? But then I came back to my core values, as in, David, you know what? Just give yourself a year or two, see what you can do in that period of time, and see if you can make it happen. And that's it. So that's what I did. My parents didn't really. I remember when I was telling my mom I'm not applying for any job, she was like, "What?" Wait, what? No, if she listens to this, she'll be like, David. No, yeah. So, I initially was applying for jobs, and I stopped around November, December.
Right.
Remember, I stopped applying for jobs. I still had my part-time job at the time when I was
Where were you working?
At Circle K.
Cool.
Shout out Circle K.
Yep.
Worked there for 4 years, but
we all have to do it.
You have to during college.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I stopped applying for jobs. I started putting the foundations in place.
Yeah.
So I started getting all the kit, making sure everything was in order, and then I actually even did like a small strategy and a plan. And I even got myself an intern, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this work. I invested so much money initially into it. Then I made the bold decision. Told my mom that I'm not gonna be applying for jobs. Made the bold decision to quit my job.
That's like.
That was like.
Tell us about that now, because I can imagine.
As I said, I'd worked in the same place for 4 years.
Yeah.
While I was in college. It was a great environment to work with. My manager was insanely awesome to work with. There was no issues. But at the same time, I was thirsty and I was hungry for something new.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to personally develop, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt like my work wouldn't let me do that.
Yeah.
It was just like people would call me, would have small talk with them. I know I got to know a lot of customers personally, but at the same time, I don't like small talk too much.
Yeah.
I like challenge, and that's what really drives me. So I was like to myself that I think it's time to call it quits. The money I was getting was okay, but I was like, I think it's time to call it quits.
Yeah.
And see if you can really make your dream happen, you know. So I decided to tell my manager. She was shocked. She was like, David, really, what? I was like, yeah, I think the time's come to pack the bags.
Yeah.
But I left the job, and I made the decision to pursue my dream full time. So I initially started off with one client, shared their office space. Actually, that was my only gym. That was my only gym. That was my first main client that I was working with for a while. So I worked with them for about 6, 7 months. Did some social media stuff with them. Was all right. That was just like because initially I didn't see myself as a social media person.
Yeah.
I liked just the creation side of it.
Yeah.
So but then
But you were getting into the groove of
they
things,
got me into the social media aspect of things.
Yeah.
So I got that, and then from that, then I branched out into the bigger corporate side of things, and then I was just getting more gigs from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like initially the initial decision to quit my job was scary, but looking back at it now, it was actually I feel like I made the right decision, because when you're working part time, it's hard for you to also focus on your dream full time.
Yeah.
So there's that trade off. If you want to work for money, you're losing out on potentially something else you could have done with that time.
Yeah.
I think in finance it's called like lost time average, something. I don't know what's.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't remember the term for it, but like, yeah.
Me and finance aren't mates.
neither are we. But yeah, and yeah, so yeah, that was that. I'm not saying that initially it was easy.
Yeah.
It was difficult. Like it was like I wasn't like I set myself like a high goal of, because you have to, again, when you start off, you have to set yourself targets and goals. I was like, oh yeah, I've been making 5K per month.
Yeah.
Looking back at that now, I laugh. I'm like, wait, no, that's over the top. Like, and I was working really hard for shitty money. Like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
You're working more hours and doing more stuff for less pay than your part-time job.
Yeah.
But however, inverse, you're so happy, you're doing your own thing.
But then at some point, the light bulb clicks and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if I can course in this. But
You can, yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck am I doing? You know? Yeah. Like, at some point, I just realized that I feel like I'm a slave.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get into this for this reason.
Yeah.
I wanted financial freedom. I wanted time freedom.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to do my own thing. And at the same time, I had a girlfriend. I just didn't have time for her.
Yeah.
I just found myself constantly working.
Yeah.
I wasn't really doing exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was put in a role that I was just doing, you know.
They're all real struggles, you know what I mean? So like, they're all obstacles in your own right, and everyone has different obstacles. But it seems to me, in any way, that like whatever obstacle it may face, whether it's telling your mom that you're not going to get like a job after college, or saying it to, like, some people would be terrified to say to their employer that they're going to leave. They're all obstacles for people, but you seem like you recognize the obstacles, but
I didn't let it stop me in a way.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Where I'm thinking when I'm listening to you, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I have to kick the shit out of myself just to get up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really, like, I'm not saying that you have it easier at all. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying I know that I have to fight with myself, like, in my head, like, doing it, like, I'm not doing it, I'm doing it. It's like,
I had those internal battles as well, but and I also have rent to pay, and I realized all of that. I was paying rent. I was like, but I also knew that I had a backdrop. I had the savings as well, just in case. Yeah. And I was like, but at the same time, it wasn't my security. I was like, it's there, but it's not there, if you get me. Like, so.
Yeah, that's just put a roof over your head for X amount a month or whatever way you saved.
And yeah, that's just how I did it. I just went from there. You know, I gave it all. I also one of my initial goals was also to know a lot of creators in Ireland, because initially I'm from a marketing background. I didn't really talk to many people in the creative field when I was like during my time in college, you know. So I didn't talk. I didn't really network as much as I should have.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I regret that as well.
Yeah, and so networking is a massive part in
everything.
Yeah,
networking, always trying to help people, always trying to just put your best foot forward, you know, and it might not pay off to you today, but
you never know when it will. Like,
exactly. It could be that person that you were nice to in college because you just wanted to be nice, and then they think of you when they're in their job and they're like, oh, I'm gonna hire his company, you know. It's all like that. So tell us a little bit now about your dreams. So we know that you're working with Provision Visuals, right? We know that you're providing videography services and stuff around that social media to small, medium enterprises in Ireland. What's your personal, like, your dream? Where do you see that business going? And then also, what else do you see for yourself in the future?
Yeah.
Get the juices flowing.
So I see Provision being one of, in the next 2 years being, 3 years being one of Ireland's largest freelance content creation agencies. So whereby in a any company could come to us and be like, oh yeah, we want you to manage our social media platform. There you go. We'll do that. We'll come up with a plan. We'll make sure they look good. Come up with their messaging. Come up with what their brand should feel and look like. You know.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'd also like to create ads as well. I want to see, like, as I was saying, growing up, Nike really inspired me to be that hero and to be able to do whatever I can.
Yeah.
So I want to like.
So you want to be involved in that.
I want to go into sports ads and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's some really interesting agencies in Ireland that are killing the game, and I love watching really good ads and just deconstructing them and seeing what the real message is.
Why is that place there, or for what? Why is that in the background? All that kind of stuff.
And getting into, like, I've also gotten into a lot of films. So I watch a lot of movies now. I watch a lot of directors and how they direct, because I'm a videographer as well. So you need to. I'm not just when I'm talking to clients, I don't just pretend like I know what I'm doing. I actually know what I'm doing. Like, I've picked up a camera. I know how to record. I know how to set the frame. I know how to edit, all that kind of stuff. So I know what the creative process is now as well, you know. But yeah, definitely want to look into going into ads as well, adding that into the business model. I want, like, as I said, Provision to be one of the largest in Ireland when it comes to freelance content creation. That you can hire any freelancer to do a job for you.
I can't wait to try this out in 2 or 3 years. Short clip.
Be like, yeah. And then personally, I just want to travel the world. I don't view finance as being my core driver. So I just want a freedom of time. So a lot of people, when I view it, even growing up, I realized early on that people work for money. What if you remove money out of the equation? What would life be like?
That's exactly how I think. So that's a get one.
So I was like thinking to myself, okay, so if I'm following my dream, the theory is that your dream should fuel your life. You know, you should be able to survive life comfortably through your dream. You know.
Yeah.
So if you achieve that, you can then take that. Then money's out of the equation. You're doing what you like. Money's coming in. Then you really focus on what you should be doing with your life. You know. Yeah. So my goal in life is to travel the world, kind of inspire people and meet different people and to meet different cultures. But you can't do that unless you have money and time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you remove that out of the equation, time becomes the factor. You can travel the world, then you can really fulfill that dream of yours. So like I've even been doing it when I could in college and when I can right now, travel around and get to meet other cultures. Like it's not enough just to be in a small island and to have like an outward look on the world without really experiencing it. I feel like I need to be in that culture. I need to be in that village. Being like what this person's like. I've sat in cultural studies, hearing my lecturer talk about culture, but I'm thinking to myself, have you experienced it? Do you actually know what that culture is like?
Yeah.
Do you know what they've been through? Do you know what they think like that? You know?
Yeah. These are questions.
These are questions I'm thinking about. Like I want to experience it fully. That when I'm having a conversation with someone, like that tribe. Yeah, this is why they're like that. I'm not just quoting a book. I've actually experienced. I've tasted what that tastes like. Yeah.
That sounds real fun and exciting.
So that's I want to travel the world. I meet different cultures and embrace different cultures. And that's my.
I think
that's my end goal.
I think like in 2019, you know, the possibilities are endless, especially for people our age. Like there's possibilities for everyone.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
Our age, like the older generation, they might not have the will or the skills to kind of get into that whole digital kind of side of things. They could. They
could, but their mindset sometimes is already set for them. Like because
like
of
generational
how they grew up,
kind of
generational gap and stuff like that. Yeah.
But for us, I just want to touch on what you said. So, like, to separate your income from your time, okay? You're in a job, say you're working in, I don't know, Costa, and say you're earning €10 an hour, right? You can only work, say you're like, I'm going to work every single hour that I can, and they say they do like 12-hour shifts every day. Your only potential is 120 hours, or sorry, €120 a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
by 5 or 6 days.
If you have something, whether that's like, I don't know, you make content, you start a podcast and you're making money from it, I don't know, you sell e-commerce, like you sell a product online or like some service online, you know what I mean? You can separate your time from the money, which gives you the freedom that you want, you know what I mean? And you're kind of doing that where you're setting up this business, you're going to get it
to
run
that level
smoothly, where then you can kind of, it's okay if you step out because you've built it up, you've put in the work, and then you can go off and
Do
like
my
you
own
can
thing,
do
yeah.
your own thing. You know what I mean? So I think like for other people, I wish them to recognize that there's so much possibilities out there. There's so many different hobbies that people have that you can make money from.
There is, yeah.
Even if it's some quirky thing, like I don't know, to me, say it's like say real old comics or something. I don't know, like comics. You could sell stuff like that online. You could create content around that. You could have a podcast and have people on talking about that. You can make money from doing that. You don't have to be stuck in a corporate job. There's ways to make money. There's ways to make money without actually putting your time attached to your income. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's powerful. That gives us this generation like the freedom to do like follow
Whatever
your.
we want, like, yeah,
Do you
we'll
know what I
follow
mean?
your dreams.
It's fucking
But
crazy.
it's at the same time, there's still so many people who don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't think
They
that,
hear it,
but they
but
don't.
it doesn't
It's
resonate with them.
it's a risk for them, and then I think that's also what differentiates who wants to be who wants to be an
Entrepreneur,
entrepreneur and who just wants to
yeah.
live life, you know.
Yeah, because some people, like, you know what I mean?
And there's no discredit to that, like.
Oh, no, not at all. Like, I know we're on the entrepreneurial
Mm.
podcast here, but, like, you have to know yourself. You have to be authentic. You have to not, like, you have to be, what is it, you have to know yourself, like,
Self-awareness.
self-awareness, yeah. Like, do I want to go through all this risk, all this stress, all this pain,
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears?
You go grey
just
early.
You go grey early for the chance of me having a business that I might break even one day.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
And
That's a reality for a lot of people. Or you can go and you can have a job and you get your salary and you can go into work and you have your friends and it's not lonely starting off and like you have a good time, you have Christmas party and like you know what I mean. Just
you actually miss some of that.
yeah, well that as well. Like you know
Christmas
what I mean.
parties, like,
As you grow your business,
you
having
start
the
doing
Christmas
yourself,
parties.
like, yeah.
But you know what I mean. It's like you have to weigh it up. But there's so many possibilities out there. Like the thing that I love just to think of is like there's some little dude on YouTube.
YouTube, that's what I was gonna say.
And he opens like fucking toys or whatever.
There's people
and
just
he is
eating on
making
YouTube.
bank.
There's people just eating and other people watching them on YouTube. Like it's a thing. People gaming on YouTube. Like
Yeah,
people
like,
watch that. You know.
Yeah, but like he's this little kid. He's like, well, it could be his parents as well, obviously. But anyway, he's making bank. He is making millions. We were getting a present for my niece before the other baby was born and we were in Smith's and I seen he had products in Smith's.
He had products.
He had his own little smiley heads with like this thing, and I was like,
yeah, that he's making banks.
Anyone who's in like a normal job and thinks that it's not possible or anything, like anything's fucking possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything is fucking possible nowadays, and we should all be making the most and taking advantage of this opportunity because it will go away someday, and things kind of evolve and there'll be new opportunities. But it's just crazy.
The
like
market shifts and changes and all that.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
so this has been a really cool podcast. I think we've covered everything here. So one last thing before you go, where can people find you? Your personal social handles, and then if they want to contact your business for.
Yeah. So on we've got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's Provision Visuals.
Yep.
So that's the name. So provision_visuals, and then we have a website, www.provisionvisuals.com.
Cool.
And then personally, I'm fully David L.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Nice. Thanks for having me, Curtis.
Cheers.
Thanks, man.